This is Jared.
And this is Eli.
This is Sports Jabbers with a lefty. It's an ease.
And today we're going to be talking about a bit of baseball, since we haven't talked about baseball in a while. Not necessarily about the Yankees, but just about pitchers and hitters, which are more important. And now you think, right, pitchers are the only important thing, correct?
I think they're only important thing. I think they're more important than hitters by far.
I think they're more important than hitters in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I don't think pitchers get you to the playoffs. I think hitters get you to the playoffs.
No, they both get you to
No, you see in these games, right? Problem is, you only have like one or two aces, right, on a team. Aaron Judge is arguably our one ace on the Yankees.
What about Stanton and
For pitching?
Oh, what were you saying?
I
thought
said
you said
Garrett
Aaron
Cole.
Judge. Oh, I thought you said Aaron Judge.
Did I say Aaron Judge?
I thought you said, okay.
If I said Aaron Judge, I meant Garrett Cole, and if not,
Let's go back to the tape.
So Garrett Cole, he's arguably our one ace, correct?
Yes.
Right. You could argue Tanaka in the playoffs, right? Severino. Some people say Severino's an ace. I personally don't think so. You don't think so?
No.
Problem is,
He's not even
he only
playing.
starts one in 4 games, something like that, right?
They usually every fifth.
Yeah, every 5th game.
Usually fifth.
So when you don't have those other 4 games, if pitchers were the only important thing, then you would unless you had 5 aces, you would lose most games, right? But then you have these pitchers who, when like Severino pitches, he lets up a lot of points to the hitters.
Runs.
Because good hitters. I'm sorry.
Well, here's my
Runs.
thing. So I agree with you that yes, okay. So, they're all in. Listen, a good team gets you. Listen, a good team gets you into the playoffs, right? So you need everything. You need hitters. You need runners. You need pitchers. You need everything, right? You need the hitters and the pitchers. Okay, if you have a stinky pitching staff, you ain't going to get into the playoffs. If you can't hit the ball, you're not going to get into the playoffs, right? So you need a good team in general, okay? And obviously, the better team you have, the better hitting, right, and the better pitching, the more games you're going to win, the better ranked you are in the playoffs for positioning, all right? So that's an easy thing. Now, the goal is, so it depends on your goal. Your goal is to get in the playoffs. It doesn't really matter. Just have a good team. But if your goal is to win the World Series, to me, it's pitching, and then it's pitching, and then it's pitching. And when you're finished with that, we come back to pitching. Okay? Because here's the thing. A great pitcher will shut down a great hitter. If I have to choose between I get my best hitter and I get my best pitcher, okay, I'm gonna put my money on the best pitcher. And that's been always that's been the problem with the Yankees recently is so what happens is like you see these hitters and Aaron Judge and all these and all these great hitters they get into the playoffs and then they're hitting home runs but now they're going against the best of the best, and as you move up in the playoffs, right, the pitching gets better and better and better, and they just shut them down. I just see it for many, many years now since I was a kid watching baseball. You watch and all right, we got it, and then all of a sudden. It just happens all the time. You take a team, and if I have a choice between a team that got into the playoffs with a pitching staff and wasn't a great hitting staff versus a team that got into the playoffs with a great hitting staff with not the best pitching staff, which has been the Yankees for quite a few years. That's why Garrett Cole was, to me, the best signing, and he's obviously showing why he was the best signing. But it always happens, and so the Yankees come in and they're a great hitting staff, and sure they might get through the first team, but they're not going to go to the World Series. You just need pitching. And that's why, the Garrett Cole, I think changed everything. Because the thing is you can live without, like Aaron Judge is out for 10 days.
Well, no, it said that they put him on IL for 10 day IL,
Yeah.
but they said it could take up to a month to heal.
Yeah. So, and I'm not a huge fan of it. I think Aaron Judge is a good player. I don't, I think
he was very hot recently.
Well, he gets hot and cold, and he gets injured, and he's really not that young. I mean, he started out. He didn't.
How old is he? I don't know his age.
Was he like 26, 27?
Somewhere around. How long do hitters play for?
Well, you can play for quite a while, but I'm just saying, at top. Let's see here. So he is. Oh wow, he's 28 years old already.
He doesn't have many years left of dominance.
No,
right? Because he can still play until probably around 35.
He can still play, but I mean, he started very, very late. But my point is that in this podcast I just like to talk about just the importance of Garrett Cole, how amazing he's doing. Right? What does he sit? What 20? You just told me he has.
He just has 20 straight regular season wins. Not necessarily for the Yankees, but in his past 20 starts in the regular season.
The guy is a machine. I mean, you have a guy that you feel like, okay,
he's the sixth player in the new era.
And you could rotate, and you can rotate. Don't forget in the playoffs, you can rotate if you need to. If you're really short-staffed, you can rotate every third pitcher, right? So just even in a 7-game series, a guy like him, you're like, okay, well, we got 2 wins, and that's not always the case, but right. So if you say, okay, we got 2 wins, all we have to do with the rest of our pitching staff just get 2 more wins, and Tanaka is, and he's a beast as it is when it comes to the playoffs. I mean, he's one of the best playoff pitchers.
He's an ace in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I remember last year, I think it was the Astros. We played him, and the Astros beat us quite good the times when Tanaka wasn't starting. And when Tanaka was starting, I'm pretty sure we won that game 10-0.
Yeah.
Tanaka's an absolute monster in the playoffs. Right, but I want to counteract what you said before. In order, to win the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to get into the World Series, you need to get into the playoffs. And having one ace is not going to get you to the playoffs. I mean, it might, but it might get you into the wild card or something like that. You need pitchers to get into the playoffs. Then once you're in the playoffs, that's another story. Because regular season in the playoffs, it's like it's very different. In the regular season, you face a lot of bad pitchers. So you need those good hitters to dominate and get you those points to get those wins. But in the playoffs, like you said, those good pitchers shut down those hitters. So you need a good pitcher. But but if you only have pitchers, it's going to be very hard for you to get a good seed in the playoff.
Yeah. Well, let's look at who do we got for our pitching for the Yankees, right?
Well, we have Garrett Cole, we have Tanaka, we have Chapman as the closer, we have Paxton.
Yeah.
And we have Lynch or whatever. James Lynch, I think his name is.
Yeah, just thinking of. So as I said, if we talk about this, and we're kind of getting off topic, we have plenty of podcasts we could do. So the important thing I just like to say is obviously once again, I believe that pitchers is everything. And if you just take a look, we can take a look at talking about this. So pitching, right? So Garrett Cole, I would go Tanaka number 2.
In the playoffs or in the regular season?
In the playoffs. That's what I care about.
Tanaka is number 2. Honestly, Tanaka could be number 1. Depending on...
Severino, isn't he out for the season, Severino?
Yeah, I think Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, he's out. And I'm not a big fan of him anyway.
Doesn't he have an ERA of like 3 or 4?
I wish we could trade him for something.
No one's going to want to trade for him.
Well, I mean, people still think he's a good pitcher.
I don't understand why.
I mean, he's okay. During the seasons he's okay, but so he's like the opposite of Tanaka, and that's why I would rather. So Tanaka, right?
Yes.
He's average during the season, and then he gets into playoffs, and there's just some players you'll watch, they're average, and then all of a sudden when the pressure is up, they get into another gear, and that's like a Tanaka. Like when the pressure's up, they get into another gear, and so that's another question. What would you rather? So give me that pitcher any day over a Severino. Where when there's no pressure, right? They're good. Severino's good during the season.
He's an ace in the regular season.
He's an ace in everything. And then the minute he gets into the playoffs,
he stinks it up.
It's a crapshoot, right? He may give you, he may only let like 2 runs go, or he may give you 7 and be out by the 3rd inning, right? So he can't handle the pressure, Severino. So he'll get you into the playoffs, and those are the worst because you feel like you're gonna we got a good team, we get good positioning, we can do this, and then he just kills you every time, and so give me a Tanaka any day over Severino. Anything else you want to say?
No, I think we pretty much summed it up. You think that pitching, pitching. I think they're both important. In order to be a good team, you need hitters as well. You can't just be.
Sometimes you'll see, and every once in a while. I mean, I remember once. Sometimes you'll have this hitter that just gets freaking hot as hell in the playoffs, and that can really help it. But overall,
TJ LeMahieu last year.
Yeah, you'll have. I mean, you can Big Poppy with the Boston. He got hot one. I mean, he just got hot one year. Well, he was always good in the playoffs, but he got hot one year, and they can just take it. So, I think that's about it with the pitching. We just talking about because actually they're doing well now. Garrett Cole won another game for them, and he's. For like 60.
Like that.
What are you doing?
Like a graph of their success. They were really hot, then down, then hot again.
Well, I told you that baseball is it's only 60 games. Baseball is a long season. You'll see, as I said, you'll see a team win like 10 games in a row, and you're like, oh my God, they're awesome. And then they'll lose like 10 games, and you'll be like, what the hell happened? Then they'll win another 10 games, and you're like, oh my God, they're awesome. And then, it just goes up and downs. But as I said, with 60 games, Garrett Cole can really get you a good positioning.
If he gets us like 17 wins, like he did, I think he got 17.
We need him in the playoffs.
If he can get us 10 wins, that's good.
Yeah.
Because I say a successful season is winning 30 to 40 games. Not like 40 games.
If Tanaka pitches, here's the thing. If Tanaka pitches like he's always pitched, and he's able to dominate, okay, in the playoffs, I'm not talking about the season, and Garrett Cole dominates, that's your two pitchers. That's all you need to win a World Series. And they got Chapman for closing. You're good. We win. That's what I'm saying. So I just want those two. That's all I care about.
The Dodgers are kind of tough. Assuming the Dodgers make the World Series as well.
But I'm just saying.
Because the Dodgers we'd only see in the World Series. But I think we're World Series favorites. And the Nationals too.
But both of them have showed that when the pressure's on, they can win games against other dominant pitchers, right? So
like Garrett Cole,
they both.
Kershaw,
that's what I'm saying. They don't.
Scherzer.
Yes, I'm telling you.
Strasburg.
If they get into the playoffs with those two pitchers healthy.
Tanaka and Cole.
I think we can win the World Series. Not me personally, the New York Yankees, but I think the New York Yankees will win it with those two.
And
the hitting staff.
The Nationals are tough, and so are the Dodgers. I think one of those two teams will make it for the National League.
It will. No, absolutely.
But I think we would be the favorites.
Yes, I think
especially with our hitting staff. We have a really good hitting staff as well.
Yeah, we're New York Yankees fans, so we're a little biased. But anyway, so that was my point. Anyway, I don't really have much to say about that other than I like pitchers. And hitters are okay too. I like hitters, but I just for all these years of just them, watching these games, every time, you root for these hitters and then they get into the playoffs and then all of a sudden they're like gone. You're like, what happened? Where'd they go? So anyway.
That was it. Oh, so if you guys enjoy our videos, please share it to other people and like and subscribe. And don't forget to comment down below topics for future podcasts.
This is Jarrett.
And this is Eli.
This is Sports Jabber with the Lefties.